Liz Truss has resigned as prime minister after 45 days in office, which means that in less than 2 full months, they've had 3 prime ministers in Great Britain.
This is the nicest thing that's happened to Great Britain. Yes, it does throw that country into chaos because yes, they have had 3 prime ministers. They will have had 3 prime ministers in 1 year. Liz Truss's, 6 weeks as prime minister was racked by just incompetence versus just a failure of policies, ignorance in the part of the secretaries working with the prime minister. So the fact that she, just came right out and said she was done after so short a time tells us that, people had to have been pressuring her because there was a lot of effort by the Conservative Party to get Liz Truss into that position. And then for her to muck it up so badly in 6 weeks proves that the Conservative Party needed to go back and retool. Now, here's what they did first. And this is where the story gets hilariously screwed up because the Conservative Party went back to the drawing board and said, "Hey, I got a great idea. We got Boris Johnson. He was the previous prime minister who had a no confidence vote. So let's make him prime minister again." Boris Johnson scratched his head for a little bit and said, "Yeah, I could probably do that." Then the next day, he gets hit by the reality ball and says, "No, I don't think I'm going to do that." And Boris Johnson steps out of the running for a return to the prime ministry. So we're looking at a new individual who has been lifted up as the prime minister. Next week, we're going to be talking a little bit more about this individual because there is already noise about this individual and the anti-LGBTQ plus sentiments that he has expressed in his history. So we're going to kind of look back and see. Next week, we'll be looking at him more in depth.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, one of the things he was the sort of prime person that was running against Liz when she was running, and so he's been elevated. There was another competitor, and she stepped down to let him have it. Rishi, I can't remember his last name. Does it say it in this article? I know why I'd seen it, but anyways, it's disappointing to hear that he also has a lot of anti-LGBT sentiment because the bonus thing about him becoming prime minister is he's the first non-white prime minister. He's the first person of Indian descent. He's a third generation. His grandparents immigrated to England. So that was, a nice thing to have happened. But we'll see how it goes. I love that Boris Johnson said that he was stepping down because he wasn't going to accept that nomination because he couldn't unite the party. And it's like, well, yeah, duh.
Yeah, when almost all of the political leaders in the House were saying, "We don't think you can do the job worth of shit." Yeah, I think you failed in being able to unite the parties.
Yeah, but still, he has to be pretty happy with himself, going like, "Yeah, y'all thought this was super easy, right?"
Oh yeah.